as long as you love me.
Lights, camera, action. Let's talk. Oh, ooh, yee. Ugh, now you're too far away. Okay. Stand by, technical difficulties. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Raising Riley. It is Tori, the lovable mom duo of Tori and Riley and Raising Riley. And today I'm talking about 10 things I wish I knew before I went to basic training. That's right, you heard it here first. It is going to be a military, like nothing but military chat. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Oh. So, friends, the first thing I wish I knew before I went to basic training, honestly, was running. I enlisted a little bit older. I enlisted at 20, and the last time I really did any serious running was my senior year of high school, where I ran probably for like the only time ever in my life a 7-minute and 30-second mile time. In the Army, you need to run 2 miles. And at 20, I thought it should be no problem to still be able to run it the way I ran it when I was a senior in high school. Yeah, nobody from basic training or my drill sergeants, like, yeah, they definitely did not take kindly to my old, out-of-shape 20-year-old ass running a 10-minute mile time for the initial PT test, where they only really had us do like a mile just to see what run group we'd be in. Yeah, coming in at 10 minutes flat when you're supposed to be able to run 2 miles in 1856 is like it's not a thing. So, my tip to you, if you're not much of a runner, I recommend going out and getting one of those walk to run 5K phone apps, just starting out small, somewhere small, so walking a mile and a half, going for like maybe a mile walk, and two of those laps, if it's a quarter-mile track, are running or jogging. You know, just building yourself up to being able to run. So if you don't run, better start running. And we're back from that brief commercial interruption. I'm not funny, but yeah, so tip 1, if you don't run, get better at running. Tip 2, nutrition. I ate like crap prior to basic training. I didn't really care what went into my body. I was really big on skipping meals, drinking. Well, I still drink more coffee than I do water, but that's besides the point. Let's just put it this way. The Army's idea of green foods, gold foods, red foods, in the sense of what fuels your body, I had absolutely no concept of that. So when I got to basic and it was, choose your plate, here are the foods that are going to help you perform the best versus the foods that are going to help you perform the worst. And to preface this, I went to basic training during the summer at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So like it's hot, like hot. And I made the mistake one of the first days of the DFAC picking like mostly red foods, really not understanding what that meant. And when I say I felt sluggish and I felt like just utter, crap, I definitely was not performing well. That's kind of when I took more awareness into the foods that they were serving in the DFAC and really what it meant. So I really started choosing like all the green foods on my plate, and I learned so much about nutrition and what it takes to fuel your body. So I would say, before you go to basic, if you're not eating the best, before you go, really start to recognize what your body needs to actually fuel itself versus what just is going to get stored as fats or not burn or just make you feel, you know, kind of like crap. Oh my goodness, my other favorite. Hello, Dylan. And I'm back. Sorry, I'm trying to TikTok and YouTube at the same time. Tip 3. Get used to being around people from all backgrounds, all walks of life, different ideations on what it means to, I would say, even be in the Army. A particular story at the time, I helped the drill sergeants, because it was my turn, carry equipment to and from the PT field. And I had a couple of guys in my platoon, and nothing against them. They're just, you know, the real big southern gentlemen, like the lady shouldn't have to carry the heavy objects, things like that. And I remember they got in trouble and we all got smoked, actually, because, again, it was the end of PT, and it was my job to swing my rifle and help carry back a bunch of equipment to our bay. And these males thought that I should not be carrying such heavy items because I'm a woman. And they alluded to that much with me when they were essentially taking the water jug, the ice sheet jug, the box of cones, all out of my hands. And I'll never forget it, because it was Drill Sergeant Leach. He came and dropped everyone, and while he's in the middle of smoking us, one of the things he said to me was, "Private, don't ever let these men tell you that you can't do something just because you're a woman." And then he turned to the other privates and said, "Privates, don't ever just assume that because this is a female, she can't do whatever is asked of her. You defeat the purpose of why she's here and why you're here if you take away an opportunity for her to not only maybe get stronger by carrying the items, but also just to prove herself to people who maybe think she doesn't belong." And that was definitely something that even now, almost 8 years in, I've definitely, really taken to heart. So, that's something to be cognizant of as well. Everyone comes from different lifestyle, different walk of life, is raised a different way, and you just never know how someone's going to be. So just be prepared to deal with all different types of people. Okay, tip 4. Fitness in general. I would say, not if you're not the most overly fit person, so like aside from running, aside from nutrition, just kind of know where you're at. Like, if you struggle to do a sit-up, definitely work on that. If you struggle to, walk more than a couple of miles with a backpack on, because you will be doing ruck marches, load up a backpack with like 10 to 15 pounds and just kind of, go for a nice little stroll, and not just physical fitness, but your mental and your spiritual fitness. If you're unsure of some things in your life, have those talks with your friends and with your peers and with God or with whatever it is you believe in. Really just to prepare yourself for the fact that you will be definitely enduring, and not even enduring, but you're going to be going through something that you may have never gone through before. You may have never left home before. This might be your first time leaving home. And it's a lot to definitely take on, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So just making sure that you're good with where you need to be in all of those categories before you ship. That's definitely something to be cognizant of. I had some people from my class at basic training who had never left home before, and they struggled the first few weeks. They were very sad, very stressed out about being away from home. And I joke that basic training in some ways is kind of like spicy summer camp, because you're away from home, you're sleeping away somewhere else, your day is constantly filled with different activities, and you got these really awesome, but albeit kind of mean camp counselors or your drill sergeants. And it's a whole different experience. And if you're not used to it, it definitely takes a toll on you in all realms. So definitely, make sure all of your various aspects of fitness are where they're supposed to be, or kind of close to where they should be before you leave. That way you don't slink into any type of high stress situation. Let's see, tip 5. The best phrase that I think describes basic training and describes like what you're going to be going through, and it's definitely something I wish I had really listened to more before I left, but embrace the suck. Yeah, it's going to suck. You're going to have very long days, possibly little to no sleep. By regulation, you're required 4 hours minimum of sleep. And there are definitely some days where that 4-hour minimum rule is heavily applied. I can definitely recall some nights where we came rolling in from training around 11:30, maybe midnight, and we were up, the next day, 4:30. Ooh, I got blurry. What the hell? Okay. Well, damn, I got up maybe 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning after having been out, like, definitely very late. And we still did PT and we drove on, so embrace the suck. It's going to be hard. Your drill sergeants are breaking you down and turning you back into a soldier, taking you out of this individualism, I mentality, and really putting in a team mentality. So just, understand and live. Embrace the suck. Tip 6. If you are not a water drinker, child, you better become one. When you are at basic training, you are not allowed to drink anything other than water and the occasional Gatorade. And that's only if it's so hot out they're afraid you're losing electrolytes too fast. And for me, that was definitely probably the most type of psychological warfare I think I had ever experienced, because I am a coffee drinker. I drink coffee. Yes, you heard me right, coffee. Not really water, not really Gatorade, coffee, like straight coffee. If there's not an IV of caffeine like running through my veins, I don't want it. So for me, the biggest thing was getting over wanting coffee. And I got real good about drinking water. And you definitely need it because you're constantly going, constantly doing something. So it's definitely good to, it is good practice to get yourself in the habit of drinking water if you are not a water drinker. Tip 7. Start practicing things like your Army values and your Soldier's Creed before you even get to basic. One of the first things they start testing you, like almost immediately when you get off the bus, is really some things like your Soldier's Creed, your warrior ethos, some of your tasks and drills, the values. So if you can kind of already understand some of those things before you even get to basic combat training, red phase, that first phase, is going to be so much easier because you'll already know some of it, and you don't have to feel the pressure of trying to understand what marching is, understand your facing movements, understand that you've got drill sergeants in your face, left, right, and center, because you've already understood, or at least have a grasp on some of what they're going to be harping on you about, which is your ethics, your ethos, your tasks and drills, the creed, the values. So if you can, already have that memorized, that's not memorized, but on your way to memorization, that is definitely a good thing to have. Okay, so I'm back, but low key, don't remember what tip number I'm on, so I'm just gonna start rattling some more off. Let's see, so yeah, we were at know some of your basic creeds and whatnot before you get there. The next tip I have for you is make sure you research like your branch before you enlist, before you even go to MEPS, before you even go to basic, and I realize this isn't like a before basic training tip, it's just an overall before you join the military tip in general. But I feel like so many times people enlist and they end up joining a branch that they don't really like, or in my case, you join like the wrong component. So I enlisted in the reserves, and I realized shortly after basic and AIT that while it was TRADOC and while it was my initial entry training, that I actually loved the Army, and I loved the life, and I loved what active duty kind of was all about. So yeah, that's definitely one of those things where make sure when you're enlisting, you pick not only the right branch, but maybe the right component. And this isn't a pre-basic training tip, but I guess this is like a pre-military tip, this one. Make sure you have backup plans with your MOS. Like, go in speaking to a recruiter kind of already knowing a few MOSs that you think you'd like to have. You never know when you get to MEPS if what you want is available, or if you test high enough on the ASVAB for certain MOSs. So it's always good to have a couple of MOSs, as backup plans that you also kind of like, that you think would be like okay ones to have, even if it's not your first choice. Another tip I have, if you are female and like me, you have longer hair, I would say honestly, like, make sure you're really good at doing a bun before you go, because you will be rocking that thing 24/7 at basic training. And if you don't want to have to go through the trouble of maintaining long hair while you're at basic, then honestly I would look up at the Army's regulation on hair, female hair. If you plan on cutting it short and having like a boy cut, just, I guess looking back on it, as much as I like my hair, I think I definitely would have preferred to not have to put it up into a bun like every day. I definitely took advantage of Sundays if nothing was going on, because my hair was down and it was not going up unless it absolutely had to. You definitely, at basic training, like the small things, the little things, having hair down, maybe not having drill sergeants bother you as much because it's a Sunday, the opportunity to do things like go to church, and write your family, things like that. And probably my next and final tip of things that I wish I had known about before going to basic combat training, I wish I would have known that most drill sergeants don't take it too kindly when like your nervous twitch is laughing. I remember during the shark attack, I stood there kind of laughing like at a drill sergeant, and not intentionally. One of my like ticks, I wouldn't call it a tick maybe, but just like my habit, when I get really nervous I laugh kind of about what, I don't know, it's funny, I don't know, really wasn't that funny, I just was nervous. So it got me smoked. And smoked is when they have you do like push-ups, sit-ups, and all that kind of stuff, like physical training, like as punishment or whatever. Because they were kind of like, are you broken, Private? And I was like, in what way, drill sergeant? Being a smart ass and all. Don't do that either. Like, don't. There's a time to joke and a time to play. And day 0 of red phase during the shark attack, not the time. But yeah, those are kind of like some of my tips. I think I got to 10. I lost track, to be honest. You may have gotten a couple of bonus tips. But if you like this kind of content, please give this a like, a thumbs up, a comment, a share, a subscribe, and let me know if this is the kind of stuff you'd like to see. I definitely want to put more military prep, like related content on my channel when I'm not doing the occasional lost vlog, cooking video, babbly rambly rant. yeah, stuff like that. So like, as always, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed my what I wish I would have known before basic, plus to what I wish I would have known before enlisting tips. And yeah, as always, I love every single one of you. Thanks so much. Bye.